What you really care about is that the Corolla S is one fun-to-drive car, but it's also good to know that Consumers Digest named the Corolla S a best buy. And Car and Driver said the Corolla was bolted together as if to last an eternity. You know, until you're like 30, the Corolla S, simply one of the best cars you can buy in its class.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Ohio Lottery.
The community continues to respond to the story we brought you last week about a boy who saved his dad from his burning car. And as News Channel 5's Lorna Barrett reports, John Gibbs and his son Mike were surprised with another generous donation from some amazing people who care.
You read the Cant repository from last week in Thursday's local section. The headline reads, "Boy 12 saves dad from car fire."
That boy is 12-year-old Mike Gibbs, who along with his dad John were special guests this morning on radio station Q92.
Do you feel yourself really lucky to be alive after looking at these pictures?
There's no doubt. If Mike hadn't pulled me out, I'd have been toast.
When John started his car last week, it caught fire and he passed out from the thick black smoke. Luckily, his son Mike was home from school, saw the fire, and ran to his dad's rescue.
He made it out there real quick and got the door open, drug me out.
I just feel like I had to do what I had to do because I wasn't going to let him die.
After John and Mike's story appeared on News Channel 5, a stranger gave Mike a new bike. And today, another surprise for this father and son.
On behalf of J.D. Byrider of Canton, Masson, and Worcester, I'd like to present you this vehicle to help assist in your transportation needs, John.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
The generosity from strangers left this single dad, who's unemployed and on disability, almost speechless.
I figured I'd be walking a long time before I got another ride, you know. Money's hard to come by, I can't work, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. So from bad comes a lot of good for John Gibbs and his son Mike, thanks to the kindness of strangers. Lorna Barrett, News Channel 5.
What a beautiful story. Thank you so much, Lorna. Thanks to the folks at J.D. Byrider, too, and also to my friends. I used to work there at Q92. Some great big hearts there. Thanks a lot. And thank you for watching. Live on 5, our 2 hours of news continues right now with News Channel 5 at 6.
People watch in horror as road rage turns deadly. One car flips, ejecting 2 people.
Plus a scholarship squabble leaving local college students without money. Why they say they're being punished for something they did not do.
And how would you feel if your neighbor was getting a better cable deal? On your side, troubleshooter Chris Caswell tackles this cable controversy next. News Channel 5 at 6 starts right now.
First in Ohio, News Channel 5. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
2 drivers tangle in Parma Heights. A case of road rage turns deadly as dozens look on. Now police are trying to figure out what really happened in Parma Heights this morning.
Well, we do know one of the drivers there was killed. News Channel 5's Joe Paganakis has been following this story all day long for us. Joe, precisely what do you know at this hour?
Well, Ted, it's definitely a terrible case that happened here along this stretch of Pearl Road in Parma Heights. Was it road rage? Was it a terrible accident? It's a terrible tragedy that's still being pieced together.
You're right. People, you know, they fly into these rages, and before you know it, someone's dead. So it's absolutely terrible.
Parma Heights Safety Director Richard Robb is left saddened by the fatal aftermath of what police say could be a senseless road rage tragedy. The 19-year-old driver of this Pontiac Grand Am killed, his 17-year-old passenger injured, and all because police say the driver of this 1987 Dodge Daytona cut them off, causing the Grand Am to hit a snowbank, slam into a tree, and flip over.
Me and my neighbor were a couple of the first guys on the scene, and the people were half ejected out of the car already.
Now, police and witnesses say the 19-year-old driver of this Daytona left the scene after the accident, but was later caught returning to the scene minutes later after police spotted this skull and crossbones sticker on his driver's door. Witnesses say the 2 cars tangled after what they say was a road rage altercation that caused both drivers to pounce on their gas pedals as they roared down a busy Pearl Road.
You could term it jag racing, I suppose. They were side by side at a good rate of speed, but if one was fleeing from the other or not, we don't know at this point.
Now, police say the driver of this Daytona could face a host of charges, including perhaps even vehicular homicide. The Parma Heights safety director issues a warning to all drivers.
People have to be able to temper themselves. Obviously, especially with with teenagers, this happening, and for the city of Parma Heights, it's devastating.
Parma Heights police are still not identifying the driver of the Dodge Daytona. He is expected to be charged sometime tomorrow morning, Ted.
Joe, tell us about the passenger. How exactly is the 17-year-old passenger doing right now?
Well, Ted, she is expected to make it, being treated right now at Metro Health Medical Center, but of course a sad day certainly for her after losing her 19-year-old friend in this crash, and still many witnesses yet to be talked to. This is definitely a situation that's still unfolding.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
Breaking news right now, a national coupon scheme nets more than $4 million. 14 states are involved in this federal investigation that includes Ohio, specifically Lorain, Cuyahoga County, and Toledo. News Channel 5's Jody Brooks just received more information on this. And Jody, this national scheme started in a Milwaukee butcher shop, right?
Right, and then it grew to involve more than 300 stores in more than a dozen states. We'll explain how it worked in a second, but here in Northeast Ohio in the Northeastern District, 15 warrants were executed around the same time this morning. FBI agents and local police raided this Lorain convenience store on Oberlin and 44th Street. The store closed down and then reopened this afternoon. Now in Toledo, a similar scene as the FBI and the police raided this home. No arrest to report in the state of Ohio, but federal authorities did take 19 people into custody in several states, including Milwaukee, where it all started. Wisconsin officials explained the scheme.
According to criminal charges, the participants in the conspiracy arranged for the acquisition of thousands upon thousands of Sunday coupons. The coupons were then cut and submitted to clearinghouses under the names of grocery stores and other retail outlets from around the country.
The FBI says ringleaders oversaw the process of bulk cutting all these coupons, and then these coupons would be sent to the coupon clearinghouse to be redeemed. Federal investigators say some of the money redeemed was then sent overseas, but at this point there is no connection to terrorist organizations. Now my colleague Paul Kiska spoke with the Lorain store owner, Tanya, tonight at 11. Paul will have his side of the story.
I'm sure it took a lot to hatch this scheme because it sounds like it was pretty involved, somewhat elaborate.
19 months, Tanya.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
Two young women, college students, away from home for the very first time in their lives. It was supposed to be a positive experience for both of them, but the terror they faced one night changed their lives forever. And the person responsible was only a teenager himself. News Channel 5's Deborah Lee now was at the Justice Center today for today's sentencing of a stalker.
Jonathan Allen will go to prison for almost as many years as he is old. 14 years for burglarizing the Cleveland Heights home of two college co-eds.
He wanted to hurt my daughter and her friend. This is obvious from everything he did. I would only hope that you would prevent him from doing this to anyone else.
Karen Epic's daughter is still numb with fear and anger. Prosecutors say Allen stalked and terrorized the girls, cut the phone lines to the house, then got into the basement where he cut the power. The girls heard him in the house and called police on a cell phone. Rita Bell's daughter still won't go outside alone at night.
Her life has changed forever over this series of events that has happened.
It's a case that outraged Cleveland Heights so much, the mayor came to court to ask for the maximum sentence. Judge Kenneth Callahan says Jonathan Allen has a history of violence against women. He turned 17 during his trial. If he serves his entire sentence, he'll be 31 when he gets out of jail. Now, Jonathan Allen didn't have anything to say today to the victims or to the court, but his mother said his actions were a cry for help, and she asked the judge not to lock him away like an animal. Ted?
He is so young and in so much trouble. Okay, Deb, thank you.
A Cleveland church goes up in flames, and now investigators are trying to figure out exactly how it started. Fire investigators are calling the blaze suspicious. Flames broke out at the Four Corners Star Pentecostal Church about 7 this morning. Firefighters contained it, but there is extensive damage inside.
Well, it could have been a space heater or something. I just don't know. I know it seems that it started up in the pulpit area. You know, it's just, I mean, it's just a great loss. You know, not only for the community, but for the members here.
Indeed, investigators found evidence of accelerant But Deacon Hicks said it may just be the kerosene they kept to keep the space heater going. Ted?
Members of the rock band Great White faced a grand jury today. The grand jury is investigating, as you know, last week's tragic nightclub inferno that killed 97 people. The band's fireworks ignited foam insulation at the nightclub. The club's stage manager, by the way, said he warned the owner several months ago about the dangers of bands lighting fires on stage.
We don't have any gray area here, black and white. No pyro, then I can guarantee your stage will be safe.
Robert Rager, Great White's sound director, who's from Kent incidentally, is now in good condition. New information tonight in the war with Iraq.
President Bush is maintaining his position. Saddam Hussein is fooling the world at the White House. The president says America may have to take action against Iraq with or without backing from the United Nations.